think that inside me there has always been a fire of making a change, doing something meaningful with my life.
So tell me about the Occupy Wall Street movement.
So the Occupy Wall Street movement, which started in the US, there in Wall Street, it started because there were a lot of people really upset with how capitalism works and how capitalism is run, the principles of capitalism, and in particular how money is distributed there. I was starting from there, that movement expanded all over the world and arrived in London. So that's how I got involved in Occupy London Stock Exchange, which is the equivalent. The stock exchange is the equivalent of.
That doesn't sound as impressive, though.
No.
Wall Street has a better ring to it.
Yeah, Wall Street sounds better. Like the London Stock Exchange. That's that actually. Side note, it was called this way because that's where originally trades were happen. So they were exchanging the stock, where they were exchanging goods and animals, and that's where it all started. And then banks went there, and that's why it's called the London Stock Exchange. So then I started with that movement and protesting there, living 8 months, camping out there.
Wait, you lived 8 months in a tent?
In a tent, yeah. I basically left what I had, and because I believed so much that a change in society needed to happen.
Yo, it's Igor. I want you to have my Amazon best-selling book for free for taking the time to listen to my podcast and to watch my YouTube videos. Now, I'm not only going to give you this book for free, but I'm going to throw in about $3.2 thousand in free bonuses. Now, if you want to get this book, please click the link in the description, or you can also go to igorsbook.com. And now, back to the podcast.
Well, what makes a man to abandon his life as he knows it and commit so much to a cause? Because we're talking almost cult-like level of belief, right? And we always look at the people involved in cults,
100%.
like the famous wacko thing, and we're like, these people are weird, right? But you actually participated.
We are entrepreneurs, so we are in the entrepreneurial cult. We do crazy stuff because we are. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing that made you be an entrepreneur. It's the same thing that makes you have decisions. If there is something inside yourself that you believe to be true, and you are a person that wants to do something about it, I think that inside me there has always been a fire of making a change, doing something meaningful with my life, and not settle for. So I've always loved actually getting involved in the action since I was a kid, whether it was sports, whether it was in my clubs. So this was a way for me to get involved behind something that I believed in, because I see a lot of people in the world that are struggling. And that was my way to say, let me express my voice. And of course, it's easier when one voice is united with multiple voices. I mean, we were, at the beginning, we were about like 600 people living, camping out there. Then, of course, after the first week, we went down to about 100. And after that, we remained like 70 or 80. But still, there was that feeling of we are here to make something happen. We are here to make a change. However, I found that environment very toxic. And so that's why I left, which is a lot of people that have not been inside the activist world. They fantasize about it, but actually it's a very dark world.
It's a dark world. What do you mean? Like there's assassinations going on there? Or
no, not that. But imagine that everything you do is to destroy something.
Okay, lots of negativity. Everything's a conspiracy.
There you go. So you can go down a downward spiral very quick because it's all about this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. We need to destroy it. We need to destroy it. There's very little space for let's work on the solution. What are we doing about the solution? And that's why I decided to separate myself from that movement and moved into the opposite side, actually being an entrepreneur, which is within a capitalistic society that before I was refusing.
No, I think it makes perfect sense because there's this great book called The True Believer. I don't recall who the author is. Oh, Eric Hoffer. The author is Eric Hoffer. He talks about different movements. He talks about Nazism, Bolsheviks, and communism, and all kinds of stuff, Chinese movements, etc. And he actually breaks down what it takes to rally people up to a cause versus what you need to do once you've got everyone sort of behind you, and you're further developing that movement. And what you're describing is, that enemy. We need a common enemy. That's the early stages of marketing your idea. You need a common enemy to latch on to and to market against. But then at some point, you have to transition, like you said, to a solution. You have to bridge the gap into what the future should look like and how are we making that future happen, right?
Yeah, and I think that they are two very different roles. These are not the same people. What I've realized in that process, because I'm still involved in making change, making a difference. I want to make this world a better place, whether it's in an environmental side or on a personal side. And what I found is that both parts are necessary for something to change. You have a part of people that are there to destroy the establishment, to destroy what is not working. And that's all they're there to do. They're there to destroy, they're there to point what's wrong, and they are there to raise awareness, they are there to protest, they are there to wake people up. And then you have the other side of people that are there to work on the solutions, and they get excited by working the solution. They get excited by bringing other people together, by coming up with creative ideas. And so you can see the two energies are very different. You have an energy of destruction and an energy of creation.
Yeah.
And they really can't coexist together. But to change something, you need both. Think about any big change that we've made in society. There was a part that was there destroying the system, and there was a part that were working within the system to change. And I think at that point I was 26, 25, 26. And I found that my place was not in the destruction, but it was in the creation. It was more aligned with who I am as a person. And that's how I found my place.
That's really interesting. And I bet it took you through a journey to discover something like that.